Hi guys, Steph here. Now today we've got for you another lovely pen. Now I don't know if any of you can recognise it. It's not the sort of general sort of pattern or colour of these particular pens, but well, what we have is a Pelikan fountain pen. Now as far as I'm aware, I believe, because it's rather a bit confusing, but I believe this pen is the Pelikan P30. Now, in this particular era, well, I say era, I date this pen around about sort of 1970s. And as I say, in this era, Pelikan brought out these particular pens. They brought them out in numerous different sorts of trim, if you like. Some of them had just plastic caps and plastic barrels. Some were full metal pens. There's some slight deviations in the trims, etc. So there was lots of sort of similar models in the 60s, 1970s. But as I say, I believe this one to be the P30, and I'll tell you why in a little moment. As you can see, this particular pen comes in this black plastic material. It's got a rolled gold cap, which if we show you a little bit of a close-up there, so it's a rolled gold cap, and again you'll notice the clip is slightly different than, well, the normal, if you like, the Pelikan beak type clips. It's slightly different. If we show you a sideways view there, okay, let's give you a nice little bit of a close-up there. So the clip, still a lovely design, but not the sort of traditional what I would term as Pelikan clip. If we take you to the top of the cap there, you can see, well, that is very sort of traditional. You can see it's got the Pelikan logo to the button to the top of the cap there. And if we show you the imprint on the cap, let's keep it nice and still for you, and hopefully what you'll be able to see, it says Pelikan, and then if we turn it round slightly to the back, it has rolled gold. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a twirl. All in all, in my opinion, a lovely little pen. Nice and classic, nice and simple, very, very nice. The size of the pen from the top of the cap to the bottom of the barrel, approximately 132 millimeters capped. Around the barrel here, around about 11 millimeters in diameter. Apart from the imprint on the cap there, I can't see no more imprints. Incidentally, one thing I've just missed, you can see it's got this slightly concaved bottom of the barrel there in gold. One thing you may have also noticed, this may have been a promotional pen. It's got some sort of a symbol to the barrel there, which, to be quite honest with you, I do not recognise. But apart from that, absolutely gorgeous. The cap on this particular pen just simply pushes on and off. Now, I've read somewhere that these particular pens were made to sort of compete with the likes of, well, the Parker 51s. Whether that's true or not, I do not know. But as we said, let's give you a little bit of a twirl. This one came to me, it was in good condition. All I've done is simply serviced it, cleaned it internally. We've given it a polish, and as you can see, it's absolutely lovely. Now, one thing you'll notice to the top of the barrel there, it's got this slightly sort of transparent blue section. Now, in the olden sort of, or the vintage pens, the older ones, I used to term this, or I still do, as an ink view area. But on this particular pen, you can't actually see the ink inside, so I wouldn't call it an ink view sort of window, if you like. I'm not too sure the reason behind it. Maybe it's just sort of to make it look nice. Either way, it does look very attractive. You can see it's got this quite a thin ring to the bottom of this section here. Again, slightly confusing. There were some models that had a slightly wider band. I believe they were slightly earlier models. Before we show you the nib, just coming back to this particular pen, some people may look at it and say, right, why is it a P30? Because they also made, I believe, a M30. Now the only difference being is that the M30, or the numbers with the M at the beginning, were what they term as a piston filler, which means that it had a blind cap which you'd unscrew and it'd have a piston inside the pen. This particular one, as I said, is the P30. Now the P indicates to us that this pen is a cartridge converter fountain pen, and it's at this time again around about the 1970s or slightly earlier is when Pelikan began to introduce the cartridge pens, the cartridge converters. So let's go back up to the nib. Again, the nibs all differed slightly. There was slight difference in design of the nibs of the earlier models, but this one being again around about the 1970s. The reason I'm saying it was from 1970s, if you look at the imprint on the nib, it actually says 750, and then underneath it's got 18 carat, and then just below it there, just near the section, hopefully you can see it says Pelikan. Now it's quite unusual to have this 18 carat gold nib. And as far as I'm aware, Pelikan introduced the 18 carat nib around about the 1970s, so that is the reason I'm dating this pen to that particular time. So again, you can see underneath we've got this this nice little section underneath, which is sort of built into, or should I say the feed is built in to the section underneath there. And again, the nib looks very similar, in my opinion, to like a Parker 75. Absolutely gorgeous. If I bring it quite close, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but you may notice that this nib is a nice, well, it's an oblique nib. Let's keep it nice and still. So I'm hoping you can see we've got a lovely left-handed oblique nib. So as we said earlier, the P stands for the cartridge converter model. So if we unscrew the barrel for you, and what you'll notice inside is that we have this this converter inside. This pen, I believe, will take all the international ink cartridges, but this one, as you can see, is fitted with this converter inside. Now obviously you people want to see the pen writing, so okay, let's go for it. So all we need to do is dip the nib in the ink and turn the converter. So let's do that. So I'm not going to do, I'm hoping you can see that as I'm turning, the sort of piston is going in, so I'm just going to do it a little bit. I don't want to take too much. It's only for a writing sample. Let's wipe the nib like so. Let's reinstall the barrel and let's bring on some paper. So let's see how it writes. So what we've got is a Pelikan. As I said, I believe this one to be the P30. I'm dating the pen to the 1970s, the reason being it has this 18 karat gold nib, which is when Pelikan introduced this particular nib. As I'm writing, it's actually a very nice writer. It's writing, I would say, with a broad line, very nice and smooth. I'm very surprised. It's very nice. A nice wet line as well, not too wet, not too dry. Very, very nice. Oh, I'm pleasantly surprised. So it's writing with a broad line. So there's the writing sample. As you can see, there's not actually any variation in the line. It's writing, well, yeah, nice and simply with a broad line. So it may not be sort of oblique, it may be just a broad nib. Either way, a lovely, lovely, lovely writer. Nice and smooth. So let's put the cap back on, which simply pushes on. So there we have it. We've got a Pelikan P30 from around about the 1970 in gorgeous condition and a gorgeous, gorgeous writer. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the pen as much as I enjoy showing you people. Down there, leave a comment, but for now I'll just say bye bye now.